Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everyday Daily Real Adult Nonprofit Learning Organizations interview edition. Our first guest is Larry Brown. Mr. Brown is the author and creator of the Four-Pocket Theory, presented in our budgeting and banking seminar series. And I'd like to welcome Larry Brown to our platform.
All right, thank you. This is great.
Yeah, thank you. So we do have some questions for you. So what I'll do is I'll start off with the first question. So tell me, summarize in a short paragraph what the four-pocket theory actually is.
Well, throughout life, we realize things are connected. So I wanted to create something that shows like steps or levels or processes that are generally connected from one step to another. As an example, where I live at in Washington State, you have your traditional school system, but they actually have, in high school, you can actually take college classes and you can actually graduate high school with an associate's degree.
Oh yeah, they have that in Florida too.
Great.
Yep,
That is an excellent program. Well, guess what? You've already started creating a series of steps, which I call the four-pocket theory. So your high school diploma, as an example, is that left pocket in a man's pocket.
Yeah.
You've already started the right pocket, filling that right pocket. Well, why do you do that? Because throughout life, you realize you have success and failures. And what if you failed at something? Well, guess what? You can go back to that other pocket.
Right.
So with educational situations, you can go from an associate's to the right pocket to a bachelor's degree. And then you start filling the back pockets to a master's degree. And for those that are lucky, a PhD or something like a doctorate. So it's a series of steps. So as another example, we all know that you have an electrician. Well, what if you wanted to be an electrician and use that four-pocket theory? Well, you could simply have that high school diploma or GED. To go to the next pocket, you enter the apprenticeship program. You're going to get paid for it.
Yeah.
What if it doesn't work? Well, you can go back to the other pocket and find another job through your education from high school or GED. Now that you've actually filled that right pocket with the apprenticeship, you get your license. You're now working on that third pocket. Well, you don't have to stop there if you don't want to. Because if you're really doing well, you might want to consult going into that last pocket.
Which is that long-term.
That long-term thing.
Yeah.
Well, you might be able to teach.
Yeah.
You might be able to go into other electrical programs of a higher level. As an example, I have a friend who manages high power voltage. Well, guess what? That pays a lot of money. So that's an example of a four-pocket theory.
Okay. So in other words, I know one of the things that we talk about in our seminar is that it's kind of like wearing a pair of jeans. You got the two pockets in the front, which are kind of easily accessible.
Right.
So you have your first pocket, which is your current employment, what you have now,
Exactly.
and then your second pocket, which is up on the other side, is more like your short-term savings. It's money that you're kind of building up for something, some kind of emergency.
That is right.
And then in your back pocket, you have all those skill sets that you can rely on. If one skill set no longer applies, and you can reach in and grab another skill set, which is also includes your education and your licenses and certifications, all that stuff. And then that last pocket on the other side is that long-term investment, which you talked about with being a counselor or being a teacher or being some type of consultant, because that's going to be long-term income that no matter if you retire, they can still call you up and say, hey, you can always consult. And that's that business investment that you get that income. So that's good. So what prompted you to create this theory?
Well, throughout life, I started noticing that there were things connected. Let's use simple things like I always wanted to play baseball. Well, how do you use a four-pocket theory with baseball? Well, you have or basketball. You have a traditional person that bats right-handed, or he catches the ball right-handed. What if he was able to hit the ball left-handed? Wow, you just created another pocket that you're skilled at, which if you're looking at a monetary or money to be made from that, the more skills you have, the more money you're going to make.
Absolutely.
So if you then, you have someone in baseball called a utility player. So if anybody that plays baseball knows what that is, that means you can take that person and put him on first, second, catcher, outfield. You become more valuable. Hence, you created another pocket.
Right.
So the object is creating pockets to make you a better person. What's another skill? Well, we know that you could be an Uber driver. So you finished high school, you're an Uber driver. That's a car. What about a truck?
A CDL, right?
You get a CDL. Wow, you just increased your salary. Well, I want to operate a train. You can do that. There's various transportation systems throughout the United States that hire. They have unions that you can actually go through and apply for those jobs. It's a skilled profession, and they're going to pay you skilled pay. Go ahead and be a pilot. So
Get your pilot's
there's
license.
a number of ways to approach this using it for a pocket approach.
Right. Absolutely. So have you taught this theory to others, and have they benefited from it? Who are they besides myself?
It's so funny you'd say that. I actually got a call from a friend, and I literally hadn't talked to him in about 3 years. And I've been coaching him throughout my life. I'm a former military through the Navy, so I retired through the Navy. And I met him in my last 4 years, and he was always fascinated with some of the things that I used to tell him about. And I also went on, the commanding officer where I worked at, he liked what I was talking about. So he said, would you like to go to school to teach some of our military personnel about that?
Oh, wow.
The reason why it was important for
needed.
him and it was important for me, because in my profession in the military, I was the one, if you did something wrong, I could actually start the process to kick you out of the military. One of the things that the military was always making sure that they had, a good light on, or that, the Navy looked good, was that military personnel could not be indebtedness. So you could get kicked out for that. And unfortunately, I had one of my own employees that worked for me, and he saw me talking to my employee about that. And I was teaching them basic fundamentals about how to save money and things like that. So this individual that I talked with, he has since that time literally bought a rental property that he's making money from.
Nice.
He literally now is a little nervous about what's happening with the economy. He's taking a lot of his money and putting it into gold. And he literally has 6 figures in gold right now.
So did he buy it when it was low?
He's been accumulating it for quite a while. He took the other step about learning finances, which is what I always taught people, just basic fundamentals of finance.
So that's good. So he not only took that advice and really started honing in on his budget, but he also invested in commodities, which is part of stocks.
It
and
is,
in different types of investments.
Gold will never go away.
No.
It is something that in hard times, if you have gold, someone will smile and say, yes, we can do business.
Either gold or silver, right?
Right.
Well, not only him, but your children, your grandchildren, they all benefited from
yes,
this.
and I always smile when I think about that. I had one person that quite literally got a job, and that's where I got the electrician piece from. And he still comes to me today. He used to have a job that was paying 20-something an hour. He was not happy with it. He used his military background to get an apprenticeship in a power company, and he worked his way up to an electrician, to a power electrician, to high voltage power.
Wow.
You know, these
The
are the
more dangerous, the more risk, the
dangerous
more money.
ones. You touch that, you fry on the spot.
Yeah.
But the more money you make. Now he's coming to me and saying, I'm making all this money. What do I do? And I've been giving him some advice. And
Yeah.
I am not a licensed, person to pass out or police make money from that
Yeah. No,
information.
neither
But
of us
I
are.
share that
Yeah.
information because it's helped me, and I always like to help others.
You know, and absolutely, it's nothing like, of course, talking to a financial advisor to
Right.
determine
I have my own
what's
financial advisor.
right, what's the best way to go ahead and invest your money. But it's also nothing wrong with getting advice from people
Correct.
that have lived it and had that type of experience. And also, you know, it's working for them to
Yes.
just share their fundamentals and their experiences. So
Right.
there's nothing wrong with that. So what's the biggest advantage to adopting the four-pocket theory?
Well, you know, in simple terms, we all want to strive to do something that, let's say, that we're good at. Let's hypothetically say your parents taught you how to cook, and they start noticing you're really a good cook. Your friends tell you you're a good cook. They invite you to parties to cook. They invite you to weddings to cook.
Mm-hmm.
Why not start your own practice?
Your own business.
Your
That's
own
right.
business. So I actually have a niece that does that,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we are now starting to see the age of trucks, you know, food trucks. You know,
Yes.
well, those were one of those things where the food trucks would go from business to business and they would sell out of the truck. Now they just park them
They
somewhere.
park
And
them,
they got
yep.
loads of people with the advent of the internet and TikTok and all these other sites. You can now put that information on the internet. So, you might notice that you love to cook. You enter a barbecue contest. You win that contest.
Yeah.
You move on to something else. The key is use some of your basic fundamentals that are connected so that it gets you success in some kind of way.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be food. It could be anything else, because if you are successful at one thing, you will notice how something else is connected.
Yeah, just like if you have a CDL and you want to own your own trucking company,
Correct.
and maybe you're like, okay, well, where do I keep my rig? I bought this rig. Where do I keep it? Because if you're like me, you live in an HOA, you can't keep it there. So then you look for land. Well, now you need to buy a piece of land, or of course, you can rent from someone, but why not own it yourself? Buy a piece of land, put your rig on that land, and then rent to other truck drivers to go ahead and house their rigs on that land. And then you make money through rental each month from people housing their rigs.
You just created
another piece of income, that will last you a little while. So that's really good. I think that this particular theory needs to be adopted by a lot of people. I think it's good for not only the young, of course, but also those that are, seniors. This is really good for building wealth for yourself and your family. So I do want to thank you for joining us today, and for more information about our organization, please visit our website at www.T.E.D.R.A and learn how you can donate and get more information about the organization, myself, and our board of directors. And once again, thank you so much, Mr. Brown.
Much success.
All right.